In the mid-20th century, a group emerged from the volatile political landscape of Colombia. They called themselves the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or FARC. Born out of the tumultuous era known as La Violencia, FARC was a byproduct of a nation rife with political and social unrest. The group was initially formed in the early 1960s by a handful of peasants and Communist Party members who were disenchanted with the state's inability to address the economic and social disparities plaguing the country. They were inspired by the Marxist-Leninist ideology and sought to establish a communist state in Colombia. Their ideological roots can be traced back to the Cold War, a time when ideologies were clashing, and the world was divided into two major camps. FARC was, in essence, a reflection of the broader ideological conflict playing out on a global scale. The group believed that armed struggle was the only effective method to challenge the state and bring about structural changes in society. FARC started as a small group of rebels operating in the rural areas of Colombia. However, they quickly grew in size thanks to a combination of factors: rampant poverty, social inequality, and the state's inability to maintain law and order in remote areas provided a fertile ground for the group to expand. They capitalized on these conditions, recruiting from the marginalized sections of society, including the poor, the dispossessed, and even children. By the late 20th century, FARC had become one of the largest and most formidable guerrilla movements in Latin America. At its peak, it was estimated to have around 20,000 active members. They controlled vast territories, especially in the rural areas, and were involved in a range of activities from drug trafficking and kidnapping to launching attacks on state forces and infrastructure. As the FARC grew in numbers and power, so too did the complexity and brutality of Colombia's internal conflict. The group's rise marked the beginning of a protracted and bloody conflict that would leave an indelible mark on Colombia's history and its people. Over the decades, the FARC's activities left a deep and indelible mark on Colombia. Their tactics included guerrilla warfare, child recruitment, and drug trafficking. The Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, better known by their Spanish acronym FARC, rose from humble beginnings to become a formidable force and a household name, not only in Colombia but across the globe. Here at Cryptic Mystic Vault, we are dedicated to bringing you in-depth analysis of such complex issues. Let's delve into some of the defining moments that shaped this brutal conflict. The late 60s and 70s were marked by the FARC's expansion into rural areas, a move that brought them into direct conflict with the Colombian military. This period was characterized by violent confrontations, with both sides accused of numerous human rights abuses. In the 80s, FARC's activities took a darker turn. They began to engage in drug trafficking to fund their operations, entangling the conflict further with the world of organized crime. This era also saw the FARC increase their use of kidnappings and bombings, tactics that led to significant civilian casualties and widespread fear. The early 90s brought another significant development. FARC started to recruit children into their ranks, a move that sparked international outrage and further tarnished their reputation. Despite the global condemnation, this practice continued well into the new millennium. The turn of the century saw the conflict intensify. FARC continued its guerrilla warfare and indiscriminate attacks against civilians. The Colombian government, determined to end the conflict, launched a series of military operations. However, these actions often resulted in substantial collateral damage and further inflamed the situation. Fast forward to the second decade of 21st century, a period marked by a significant shift. The Colombian government, led by then-President Juan Manuel Santos, initiated a peace process with the FARC. This move, while controversial, marked the beginning of the end of a conflict that had ravaged the country for over half a century. The FARC's actions, while rooted in a complex mix of ideology and conditions, brought immense suffering to the Colombian people. It's a tale of a struggle for power that spiraled into a protracted and bloody conflict, leaving deep scars that continue to shape the nation's destiny. Stay tuned to Cryptic Mystic Vault for more such profound explorations into global issues. Achieving peace in Colombia was no simple task. It involved years of negotiations, ceasefires, and setbacks. The journey towards peace was a rocky road, fraught with challenges and complexities. The peace process evolved through a series of significant negotiations, marked by moments of hope and despair. At the heart of these negotiations were key figures, individuals who played a crucial role in shaping the course of events. Among these figures was former President Juan Manuel Santos, who committed himself to the pursuit of peace, even in the face of fierce opposition and criticism. These negotiations were not smooth sailing. They were marked by numerous ceasefires, some of which held, while others crumbled under the weight of continued conflict. Each ceasefire represented a glimmer of hope, a possibility for a peaceful future, but each setback was a stark reminder of the deep-seated issues that fueled the conflict. The peace deal that eventually emerged was not without its critics. There were those who saw it as a deceptive agreement, a deal that offered undue political power, financial benefits, and protection to FARC members. These critics argued that the agreement was at the expense of Colombian taxpayers who bore the brunt of the cost. There were concerns about justice, about whether the agreement adequately addressed the crimes committed during the conflict. There were questions about accountability and about whether the deal was too lenient on those who had perpetrated violence. Despite these criticisms, the peace deal marked a significant turning point in Colombia's history. It represented a shift away from decades of conflict and towards a future of potential reconciliation and healing. It was a testament to the power of negotiation, to the possibility of finding common ground even in the midst of deep-seated disagreement. Despite the hurdles, a peace deal was eventually reached, marking a significant turning point in Colombia's history. The road to peace was rocky, but the journey was a testament to the resilience and determination of those who dared to dream of a peaceful future. In a controversial move, the FARC transitioned from a guerrilla group to a political party, causing a ripple effect throughout Colombian politics and society. This transition marked a significant shift in the group's strategy, from employing violence to influence Colombian politics, to participating directly within the political system itself. The group, once known for its violent actions, rebranded itself as the Common Alternative Revolutionary Force, keeping the FARC acronym in a nod to its past, but with a new focus on political change. This transformation, however, was not met without resistance. Many within Colombian society saw this as a means for the FARC to legitimize its past actions and gain undue political influence. The group's entrance into politics was marked by a struggle for acceptance. Their debut in the 2018 legislative elections saw them securing less than 0.5% of the vote, reflecting the public's mistrust and rejection of their violent past. Despite this, their guaranteed 10 seats in Congress as part of the peace agreement ensured their political presence. This political transformation has significantly impacted the peace process and the political landscape in Colombia. On one hand, it has been viewed as a necessary step towards reconciliation, providing a platform for the FARC to advocate for social and economic reforms. On the other hand, the political power granted to the group has been a sticking point for many Colombians, who see it as a reward for their past transgressions. Furthermore, the FARC's new role has heightened political tensions in Colombia. The right-wing parties in particular have vehemently opposed the group's political participation, arguing that it undermines justice and threatens the stability of the country's democratic institutions. In essence, the FARC's transition from guerrilla warfare to political activism is a complex and contentious part of Colombia's journey towards peace. It has reshaped the country's political dynamics and continues to stir debate amongst Colombians about the nature of peace, justice, and reconciliation in the post-conflict era. This political shift has stirred mixed reactions, with many questioning the implications for Colombia's future. The peace deal and FARC's political transition have left a complex legacy. Today, Colombia continues to grapple with the aftermath. The Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, a group rooted in Marxist-Leninist ideology and agrarian issues, has transformed into a political entity, leaving many Colombians in a state of unease and apprehension. The peace process, which was intended to usher in a new era of stability and prosperity, has been marred by a myriad of challenges. Disarmament and reintegration of former combatants have been far from smooth, with some ex-FARC members rearming and returning to illegal activities. The quest for justice for victims has also been a contentious issue, with many feeling that the peace deal has fallen short of delivering true justice. Furthermore, the political landscape has seen seismic shifts with the FARC's transition into politics. Their reception within Colombian society has been mixed, with some Colombians viewing their participation in politics as a necessary step towards peace, while others see it as a reward for past atrocities. As for the future, the road ahead for Colombia is uncertain. Despite the challenges, there are glimmers of hope. The peace process, albeit imperfect, has opened avenues for dialogue and reconciliation. It has also brought international attention to Colombia's plight, highlighting the need for continued support and vigilance from the global community. However, the specter of violence and instability still looms large. Recent years have seen an uptick in violence in some regions, a grim reminder of the fragility of peace. The Colombian government and the international community must remain committed to addressing these issues, ensuring that the hard-earned peace is not squandered. As we reflect on this turbulent chapter of Colombia's history, we must also consider the broader implications for other long-standing conflicts around the world. The struggles and triumphs of Colombia's peace process offer valuable lessons on the complexities of transitioning from conflict to peace. And as the world watches, it serves as a stark reminder of the indomitable human spirit, seeking peace amidst chaos.